Hello, everybody. Some old guy with MS here. Um, well, at least today, I'm pretty close to bang on time. Yep, there it is, 6:10. Anyway, we've all made it. That's great. In this video, I want to give my thoughts on the movie Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman came out in 1990. And I think it's a great sort of, well, not sort of, it's a great romantic movie. Some have described it as a Pygmalion type of movie, but I don't really think so. The male in the movie isn't trying to improve or anything like that. The female in the movie. It just sort of happens. Anyway, about the movie. Pretty Woman stars who's it star? It stars Richard Gere and Julia Roberts. Richard Gere plays this really super rich guy called Edward anyway. And Julie Roberts plays this hooker, this prostitute called Vivian. So the character Edward is in LA for something, for like a week to do this big buyout of a company. And his girlfriend from New York, he lives in New York, she doesn't want to come out and basically breaks up with him at the beginning of the movie. And so he's got no one to go to all these events with. And let's see what happens. For some reason, I forget why, he borrows his lawyer's car and is looking for basically downtown Hollywood. And he can't drive the car very well. He pulls over to the side of the road, to side of a road, to sort of figure out how to do the manual transmission correctly. And Vivian sees him and thinks, oh boy, this will be a great, great one to, pick up, sort of. And so she comes over and starts talking to him. And he says, oh, can I get directions to, blah, blah, blah. And she says, sure, $5. And he grumbles. And he says, well, I only got a 20. And she says, well, for 20, I'll take you there. So she hops in the car and she tells him, what a great car it is. I think it was the Lotus. And basically tells him he doesn't know how to do the transmission properly. So he says, okay, then you drive. So they switch. And she's driving. She's actually really good, and she drives them. Gets to the hotel he's staying at, and she says, okay, thanks. And he says, thanks, and goes to go to his hotel, and he sees her out front, sort of sitting on a bus bench. And so he says, well, I thought you were going to get a taxi back to your office. And she says, yeah, I like taking the bus. And so it ends up, he invites her up to his room. And to begin with, it's not really for sex, but anyway, she comes up there and, they start talking about price. And, she says, it's $100, for an hour. And he goes, wow, that's an awful lot. And then he says, well, I'd like you to spend the night. How much for a night? And she goes, you can't afford it. And he says, well, try me. And she says, 300. And he says, okay. And so she's, all tickled pink that she's going to get 300. So she does stay the night. And I do think they fool around, but that's not explicitly shown. Then the next day, he says to her, look, I got a week of business here. I kind of do need a lady companion. Can I hire you for the week? And she thinks about it and she says, yeah, sure, $4,000. And he says, 4,000? How about 2? And she says, no, 3. And he goes, okay. So then he's going off to do his work or whatever. And as he's getting ready to leave, she says, I would have settled for 2. And he says, I would have gone for 4. So anyway, that's kind of funny. And he gives her a credit card and he says, go buy some appropriate clothes for a elegant dinner party. So she goes out onto Rodeo Drive to try and buy some conservative but elegant clothes. And of course, she's dressed like a hooker. And she goes into this one store, and of course, they won't serve her. They don't ignore her, but they're kind of nasty to her. So she comes back, and then the manager of the hotel says, who are you? And he says, actually, I like the manager of the hotel. He basically says, this hotel doesn't allow people that do your kind of work in the hotel. However, the man you're staying with is an extremely valued customer. He says, so you're Edward blah blah blah's cousin, aren't you? Or not cousin, niece. And she goes, yeah, okay. And he says, well, as his niece, you're more than welcome here when he's here. But after he leaves, of course, we won't see you again, will we? And she goes, sort of like, she kind of gets what he's doing. And she goes, yeah, okay. And then he says, now what's the problem? Or something like that. And she says, well, I've got all this money that Edward gave me. She shows a wad of cash to him to buy some conservative, appropriate clothes, but no one will serve me. So he makes a call to someone, sends her over to this other place, and she gets the cocktail dress that she needs. And sorry about that. And anyway, she looks very lovely in the dress. So they go, like, Edward and her go out for dinner and do whatever. And then when they come back, he says, well, they kind of spend the night together, I guess. And then in the morning, he says, well, you got to go buy some more clothes because we've got other functions to attend to. So he takes her to a store and basically they spend an obscene amount of money on her. And then Edward's lawyer, who is George Costanza in Seinfeld. I forget the actor's name. Well, anyway, he's Edward's lawyer, and he's kind of a nasty creep, sort of. Edward sort of mistakenly tells him that Vivian's a hooker, so he tries to take advantage of her, and because he says she's changing Edward. So there's one point where, like, Edward and this lawyer and his company, they're trying to take over this shipyard because they want to break it all up, sell the pieces, and get Fabulous City more rich. And Edward has a change of heart and decides that he'll build battleships with the owner of the shipyard rather than splitting it all up. So yeah, the lawyer's pissed, and he figures it's Vivian's doing, which I guess in a way it sort of is, but it's actually a good thing, right? And so there's a scene where he comes up to the hotel room. Vivian's there. Edward's not there. And he tries to take advantage of her. They get in a tussle. He slugs her, I guess, in the cheek. And then Edward comes home to the hotel room and pulls him off of her and kicks him out, which is a good thing. And so it's coming to the end of the week, and it's coming to the end of the week. So, but he says something to her, and he says to her, I never treated you like a prostitute. And then she says, sort of says things to herself. Yeah, until now. And she collects everything. And she says, I want my money. I want to go. And anyway, it's like a lover's quarrel. And Edward apologizes to her. And she comes back in. And but it is the end of their financial agreement. It is just about the end of the week, a day from the end. He's leaving, and she says, and he says, I really like you. I want to see you again when I'm in town. So I'll put you up in a nice apartment, give you some money, and take care of you. And she says, which I think is a good thing. She says, when I was a little girl, I used to dream of, a white knight coming and saving me. But he never said, I'll put you up in a nice apartment. They always get married and, you know, live happily ever after. So he says, yeah, I just can't do that right now. And she says, okay, give me my money and I'll be on my way. So the limousine driver from the hotel takes her back to, where she lives, lets her off there. And then the next day, he's going to take Edward to the airport. Um, but he takes her to where Vivian is. And anyway, he ends up going up the fire escape to rescue her. Oh yeah, and he's afraid of heights, but he does it. And then when after he goes up the fire escape, he says to her, what happens after he rescues her? And she says, he rescues her. She rescues him. Right back. So, good movie. Little more emotional than I expected. But I think that's just me. Anyway, a good movie. I would recommend it. My BFF suggested it. And yeah, it's a good movie. I liked it. A very nice romance. Yeah, kind of appropriate for the times. Anyway, yeah, a good movie. A good romance. So I guess that's about it. I think next week I'm gonna do a video dedicated to financing because a lot has happened in the world of finance and we've got to kind of catch up on things. Anyway, that's just about it. So if you stuck with me this far, please subscribe, like, share, and comment on this video. Everything like that is much appreciated. So I think I'll end it there. So stop communication. No, sorry. End communication. Okay, this part is not for you. Start listening. Mouse Grid 8. Brother. Start listening. Mouse Grid 8. 8. 1. Click. Mouse Grid 8. 3. 3. Click. End communication.